You are looking at the Formula Alpha 2024 by Virtual Racing Cars for Assetto Corsa. This car is without a doubt the most detailed and accurate Formula 1 car ever created for a racing game. The feature list is too long, but I will run through many of the details once we get on track. This 2024 car is the third current-gen F1 based car from VRC, with the Formula Alpha 2022 representing the first in the series 2 years ago. That was VRC's opening salvo into a modding corner that was previously dominated by Race Sim Studio, and this year's car represents the best of the features from the previous years and the evolution of the Formula Alpha through 2023. This one has a more advanced damage model, sophisticated energy deploy tuning, shift and DRS sound customization, plank wear, and a bunch more features that have all been added to the car that already challenged engineering-minded drivers in previous iterations. And for those who just want to experience a realistic 1,000 horsepower track weapon in a more point-and-shoot manner, VRC has also included a non-CSP version of the car with limited customization, and it allows you to get straight to the driving. And speaking of driving, let's get this beautifully complicated machine on track. Alright, so here we are in the pits at Interlagos. I've made just a basic setup here, but I'll quickly run you through what you can expect. One of the first interesting things you notice is you will see this screen pop up. This is yet another app from Virtual Racing Cars to help control. As you can see, we have the map of Interlagos here, and then different colors along it. You can see what that represents. So there are different means of deploying. It's not a static deploy rate anymore. So the kind of, I guess it's teal, is that a teal color? Represents the deploy sections of the track. We go counterclockwise here, and the red is where we get a little extra bump there, that E-Boost turbo to power us into this DRS zone, to power us into this DRS zone, and this little bump here, I guess, to power us up the hill. Then the white, I believe, is regen, so we get to build up a bit of power here. And as you can see, relative to the start position and how long we deploy, when I adjust the split, it adjusts various parameters. So on the lowest, the split 1, as you can see here, the split start position is 0 meters and E-Boost turbo length is 0. But we turn it up here, and E-Boost turbo goes to 97 and split start position 689. So you can fool around with that and get different deploy. Again, not a static level throughout the lap. So it's very interesting. Then we have brake shapes. As you can see here, we have chosen brake shape map 2. Try saying that 3 times fast. If we go to 3, as you can see, it represents different braking levels and how we get there. So I like it on 2. Oops, I like it on 2. I have no issue with that whatsoever. I've done some testing here, and that seems pretty nicely represented here for Interlagos. Plank wear, you actually have a plank that you have to be mindful of. So you're allowed up to 1 millimeter of plank wear during qualification or race. So good to keep an eye on that. If it gets too much, you will be disqualified, I believe, according to what's written up here. Or sorry, subsequent laps invalidated. Interesting. Then we have audio settings here, so we can turn on a DRS tone. So that's just going to give you a little beep as you enter a DRS zone. And shift tone, if you want a beep, a different pitched beep in your ear, you can do that when it's time to shift. I have a DRS beep app, so that's pretty much what I'm going to use here. But if you want that beep to tell you when you've entered a DRS zone, you can do so here. As well, the display on your screen, we can do some customization here, including like pop-up time, how long each message flashes for, and then when you finish a lap, 2 seconds telling you the lap time, etc., etc. And then we can customize the shift LEDs here, or the tachometer LEDs for color. Let's keep going here. The manual for the car is included right in game, so if you're having trouble, if you're getting stuck understanding what something might be, you can check these write-ups here. And then a quick bit of information on the car. All right, so that screen will only be up as long as we are in the pits. Let's quickly go through the pit menu here. Of course, fixed gear ratio, theoretical top speed of 360 in this Formula Alpha 2024. Tires, we have a number of compounds, 7 if I'm not mistaken. So we have ultra soft, ultra soft, super soft, soft, medium, hard, inters, and wets. I'm going to keep it at softs here. And then, of course, we have adjustable tire pressure. Fuel, maximum load on 145. I'm going to keep it mid-40s there for now. Electronics, we'll get into this more when we're on track. Right now, I've got things kind of turned down here just to build up the car a bit. You can look at the rear wing here, or probably the front wing as well, and see these adjustments. Oh, of course, I would wait till it's off screen. Come on. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that rear wing. Oh, there we go. You can see the adjustments on the rear wing there. So that's pretty cool. And then individual front wing flap adjustments. Brakes, as you can see, it's very complicated here. So we have brake balance migration, brake shape, etc. Well, the brake shape is, I believe, what we just looked at in the other screen. But a bunch of different braking customization options here. Differential, again, very sophisticated. Entry, mid, and exit of the corner. You can set how much lock we are allowing. And then driver presets here. This is brake bias and differential settings. So we have 2 presets here. And then target. Good to set a target lap time, because your lap time delta that you'll see on the wheel screen is not compared to your best lap. It's compared to the target lap. So you might hear on the radio in F1, you know, target plus whatever, 5.5. That is relative to the target time. So that's what we have here with VRC's Formula Alpha 2024. Getting into things you'll more commonly see on mod. Steering ratio, not that common. We have a constant speed limiter there, so that would be kind of a yellow flag scenario. Power unit, this is the only one I wanted to point out here, the engine map. So you can only set this in the pits. So we have a wet mode, we have a low, a balanced, and a high. So I leave it on high. It's definitely torquey, but yeah, that's what I leave it at here at Interlagos at least. And then, you know, a bit more tuning here of the harvest and regen modes. Power unit, you'll see when we get on track, we'll be able to scroll through 9 different modes of deploy. As you can see, the last 5 are customizable. We can adjust how much deploy and regen we have. Then we get into suspension. Like, these are fairly basic suspension alignment options. Bump stops, same thing, give or take. Dampers, nothing too sophisticated. Heave springs, you know, we have bump rubber gaps. So yeah, we fairly standard there. Main suspension, of course, interestingly, we have a weight balance offset. Interesting. And then front and rear anti-roll bar, torsion bar, bump rubber gap, push-pull rod. So yeah, a lot of customization options we can do on the suspension here. And then visually, we have 7 different wheels on offer, and I believe number 6 is kind of the Williams. It's got the screen in a fixed position, but everything else in, all other wheels have a screen on the wheel. The Williams version has the screen fixed to the car, and then we can choose a visible, transparent, or hidden, and you can't see it here because we're not in the car, but you can make that halo invisible if you want. And then 2 different windshield options. It's just a tiny piece of presumably plexiglass that sits right in front of the driver. You can have it on or off. And then the dummy cam, I think, is just which side. Yeah, you can see it there right in the center of your screen. Which side of the car will the dummy cam be on? And that's pretty much it. So let's drive here at Interlagos. All right. If you've driven VRC's Formula Alpha before, you know there's a start procedure. And you might be saying to yourself, Mike, you forgot to turn on your wheel and driver. I actually did not. So instead of just an ignition button, when I push extra option A, we got our wheel on. And we're pretty much ready to start there. So first thing we got to do is clutch in. Then we hold down the start button. All right. And then just to quickly run through some options here, we have different strats. I haven't fully figured out the strats, but for now, I'm going to leave it at 1 and then build as we go through more laps. I was telling you about the 9 modes we have on offer, and then we can customize the last 5. So start mode, this is basically a huge amount of e-boost turbo. That's 2.6. I believe that's the highest value. And then, you know, fully locked differential. And then pre-start, as you can see, less e-boost turbo. Qualification mode, max turbo boost there. And then recharge, unsurprisingly, is less. And then if we try and adjust the engine map, oh, we can do it because we're in the pits, but commonly we won't be able to once we get out on the track. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We can scroll through the different pages here of our screen. I prefer generally to leave it on 3. Okay, we're finally driving. So again, holding the clutch, first gear, bit of revs, and what happens if you don't give it enough revs and let out the clutch? You get anti-stall. So I gotta go clutch in, gotta be careful of that. Some more revs, and then slowly out on the clutch. And then over a bumpy curb, we are off and running here at Interlagos. And again, everything turned down right now. I'm sure it's still 800 plus horsepower, but comparative to what this car is fully capable of, this is definitely a toned down version. So as always, as we've come to expect from virtual racing cars, sounds are absolutely phenomenal. And even though this is certainly not the best sounding era of Formula One in terms of the real world car, what VRC has done with the car is very impressive nonetheless. So one thing you notice about the car, it's very stable. One of my few critiques about the original Formula Alpha, the 2022 version, whoa, there we go. Just as I was saying how stable it is. Sorry, just had to avoid anti-stall there. Yeah, one thing you notice about the car is it is comparatively stable. You saw what happened there, just got a little too aggressive with the throttle, but if you drive this with warm tires, warm brakes, and you know are smart about your throttle, you shouldn't really have any issues driving it. But speed is found in this car, like all cars, in you know, how early can you get on the throttle, how late can you get on the brakes, and so you will find a limit to the car for sure. But just generally, it feels well connected to the road and comparatively stable. You can hear those beeps there. Those are the DRS beeps, not from the virtual racing cars sounds, but from my DRS beep app. Alright, so we can turn it up a bit. So right now we're in regen mode. Let's go to a low race mode here. And we'll bring our strat up again. I don't know exactly what strat does, but we'll tinker with it, see if we can find a bit more speed here. And this is the Pyre skin for this version of Interlagos, by the way. If you're wondering why my Interlagos doesn't look like your Interlagos, simply because I am a member of the Pyre Patreon. Alright, we'll open up the DRS for the first time here. ...330 kilometers an hour. And DRS again. And I have a feeling that Strat Mode 2 may be the highest. Let me see if I can dial this back here, get even more speed. So, how does this drive compared to any other current gen Formula One car that I've driven? As good as any. I adore this car. Truly, I do. And I understand the critique of VRC in terms of, you know, have they jumped the shark? Are they making features just to make features? Yeah, I would say that to a degree they are. Like, I don't know anybody that's going to want to run that, whoops, there we go. I don't know anyone that's going to want to mess around with the plank under the car. That seems a bit gimmicky to me. But at the same time, you do have a non-CSP version. If you do truly believe that VRC has gone too far and they're just adding features for the sake of adding features, just go with the non-CSP version. Or do nothing to the CSP version. Like, I think it's cool that they packed it in. It just kind of shows where Assetto Corsa can be taken. It's just limitless. Like, I mean, we're talking about, you know, dynamic energy deploy modes on a modern Formula One car. Just truly phenomenal levels of detail that VRC has been able to accomplish with this car. Again, are people going to touch it? Probably not, but that doesn't mean it doesn't need to be there. It's cool to have it for those who do want to tinker with that. So you can see that target time there, so I'm just slightly down on my target. This should be a shade over 1:12. Or right at 1:12. That's cool. But yeah, you feel really connected to the car, and I just adore the way this car drives. And the level of sophistication that VRC has packed in here is phenomenal. This is their best work ever. And yeah, just incredible. This is the first year in a long time that we haven't had a Formula Hybrid from RSS. And did I miss it? Yeah, of course. But thankfully, VRC came through and brought us this, because this should scratch any Formula One itch anyone has. And more features are always better. So, I mean, obviously the selling point to this car, or what VRC hopes will be the selling point, is that level of sophistication and the amount of detail they've packed into this. So, whoa. Didn't stall. Need to go back to first gear. There we go. All right. So let's recharge. But yeah, so you know what VRC is selling this on is those extra features. And again, I understand the argument that it's too much, but at its core, you're going to jump in and probably instantly fall in love with this. It just drives phenomenally well. And basically limitless in terms of, you know, customization and where you want to take a car. And if you really want to get down and nerdy with it, you certainly can. And so it's kind of the engineering-minded sim racer's car in a lot of ways. Because of course, real Formula One cars take an entire team of people to operate and develop, of course. And it's all on you, Bubba. If you want to get into staring at screens, customizing, tweaking, can you find an extra tenth? Can you find an extra second? What can you find based on tinkering and improving the car? I mean, this is the one for you. All right. Love to get a personal best. I would love to get that delta into the minus. So let's see what we can do here. Right now, everything's turned down. But next lap, we'll go for something. Oh, by the way, Shadow 118 on Overtake, I'm guessing partnered with VRC, because there's a full arrangement of skins available for the car for all 2024 Formula One teams. Shadow 118, I think, is the best skin maker in the game. There's a lot of great ones, but Shadow 118 continues to deliver. And yeah, all 2024 teams are represented. Okay, let's go. Let's go heavy, man. Strat 2. And we are off. Again, going for delta in the minus here. 320, 330. All right, I am well down on time. So let's go quali here. See if that makes a difference. Already down, but only about 2/10, so we might be okay here. There we go. Assuming I get the DRS right, should be down time. I'm into the 11s, 111.8. All right, so that is my personal best. I think I will end on that. This car is phenomenal. This is, in many respects, the most realistic F1 car we have ever had in a racing game. And truly, the limit is your imagination. What do you want out of an F1 car? With the non-CSP version, you can just get in, it's point and shoot, you can just get in and enjoy yourself. Or with the CSP version, you can tweak the ever-loving snot out of this car and just get as technical as you want. It is phenomenal in every respect. Very enjoyable to drive, highly, sophisticated and detailed in areas where we never thought we would see in a racing game. And just a genius car, in my opinion, from Virtual Racing Cars. But let me know your own thoughts on the Formula Alpha 2024 or anything else you might want to just get off your chest. All right, thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the replay, and we'll see you next time.